Okay, there we go.
Okay, cool.
That's fine.
We'll see how my audio turns out this week.
Yeah, I take it that wasn't the road, Mike, last week.
No, it wasn't. It ended up being the
So off the
camera.
camcorder.
And do you know why? This is a strange... I don't know much about,
Why?
Anything really, but techie stuff. I just kind of know how to turn a camera on.
Was it Final Cut?
It wasn't Final Cut. This was... I don't even know what this is. I think this was the H6, which is why I don't know how this is going to turn out. It recorded me on another temporal plane. It recorded me in slow motion. So I spent ages, and it wasn't the software, because I recorded it in Adobe Audition and Audacity, because I keep on being like, I'll get to know Adobe Audition, and I don't really get down to it. But on both of them, it was slow motion. It was like 10% slower. So when I listened back to it, it was a bit like this, which is, could be an improvement. But it didn't. Our audio didn't sync up because I was in another temporal plane.
I haven't experienced that before, but I think it might be something to do with the bit rate of the file you're recording. Yeah. I think audio you're meant to record at like 44.1, whatever the fuck that means. And then if it's any different than that, it'll either speed up or slow down. It has to be recorded at the audio has to be the same codec as it is on your video recording, in which case it'll sync up. I'll look more into it for you, but I think that might be it.
I thought that would have meant that the app that was recording it, because it was being used as an interface, that would be on their megabits, but because they were the same in slow motion, maybe it's recording in a different. It's transferring audio. So,
it feeds it to the
But so
that is odd though. I've not had that before.
Yeah, it was very strange. So I spent a long time manually trying to change the speed of it by percentage, and it kind of got close, but it didn't sound right, and it was like, because I'd get I got to the point where it was kind of in sync, but over time it would out of sync, so it wasn't exact, and I got down to like the point 1, 0.2 of it, and then it was like, oh, you need to do the 0.0000 of it. I was like, fuck it, go camera.
Have you tried recording since?
No, that would be responsible.
Let's see if it does the same thing. Yeah,
I thought, fuck it, do it on the day, see if it ruins, make another professional. How are you, Steve?
I'm all right.
You're all right.
It's been a positive week. Busy, very very busy, but good.
Yeah, same. Very very busy. What was positive about your week?
I just enjoying my work. Like it's been.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah. No, I essentially had like a trial for an agency to still work as a freelancer,
like a biathlon kind of thing. Like a biathlon. That's like cycling and swimming, or is that the shooting one? One of them's like you ski and you shoot.
That's a triathlon.
That's the triathlon. It's a biathlon. Is that the shooting and skiing? Did you have to do that? Well,
no,
it's not really.
No skiing.
Call it a trial.
No skiing. I did do shooting though, just not the same.
Different type.
No, they called me like I was going out on the piss like last Saturday, and they called me at 9:00 that morning to see if I could be with them at 9:30 the next morning in Southport to go and film this guy
with his knowledge.
I won't go into it because I don't know what's like.
Don't know whether the body's been found. I don't know what the whole thing's going to be.
Well, I don't know how it works as far as like talking about products and all that shit. But essentially, got to empty my bins.
That would be the smart thing of your goal list to do, I guess, is smart goal number 1.
Empty the bins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Productive.
So I had to be there the next morning to get a project turned over this week that I hadn't really planned for. Well, I've got another editing job on the go as well, so it's been really busy, but kind of a good indicator of how I function at like last minute stuff.
Okay.
Which is pretty well, it turns out.
Yeah, I'd say you haven't. I haven't noticed anything bad about. I'm quite impromptu. I don't think you've ever had moments where you haven't been able to get up and go. Do you know what I mean?
I don't
As in,
know,
if I gave you a task, like we're going to film a Christmas advert, let's sit down and write it. Okay, Right, and then we're going to film it tomorrow. Okay, cool. It was like, that was quite quick how we did that. I'd
Yeah.
say...
I think that's very different to how I used to be, though. I used to put things off for a while, but like plan to. So like if someone asked me to do something, I'd be like, yeah, well, let's try it on this date, like next week. And in the meantime, in that week, I'm not doing anything.
That's true.
I'm just like, I need this. True. I need to ramp up to to this moment of productivity.
Yeah, the amount of times there's been a group text of like, hey, Steve, do you want to go? We're all going to go for a drink. He's like, if you give me like 2 weeks notice. You know, it's like, well, I've got to see what's going on April 9th. Like, you know, but this is the difference of like, it's something that you want to do. So it's like, you don't want to do Friends, but like,
I don't want to do,
but like, yeah, it's that whole like, well, this is the job that you want to do. So it's like, so there's a lot more purpose. Purpose has been instilled.
And it was cool. It was nice to see, it was nice to be helpful because they were in a pinch because their guy had to drop out last minute. So like, it was nice to feel like I could step in and be useful rather than kind of asking if I can help, like being asked, like I don't know, it's quite cool.
That's cool. A busy week as well. Productive. I don't know, but lots and lots and lots of work. We haven't spoken for a long time. There's so much stuff that I have to dance around if I want to talk about. So loads of things.
It's been 10 days I think since we last recorded because we're recording late because of. Well, I'm assuming both our workloads, but mine definitely because I had to reschedule.
Yeah. There's been so much going on. I mean, I visited family a couple of like not last weekend, but the weekend before, and then coming back like I don't sleep well outside of my own house, I guess. And it's not. There's probably a mental aspect. Everyone loves their own bed, right? But there's a whole thing of like I've built my existence around my bed. So like, there's so many weird, stupid things I've got. Where like, I get my legs get very tight if I sit down for too long, and I sit down for a living, and then driving sitting down. So I've got these like airbag massages that are like to help trauma victims or something. But it's just like a like a blood pressure thing you get. Where it's a band and it just fills up with air.
Oh yeah, and it inflates.
I've got a massager that's basically that. So you like strap it around your legs and it just crushes them like those things firemen use to lift buildings that have been crushed in earthquakes.
Oh yeah,
I do that for my legs, and it just helps me out. So there's like that's just an example of creature comforts I've got, but they're more to help me live. And then I'm taller than I keep on saying I'm tall, but I'm not even that tall. But I need a bigger than average bed if I want to lay down properly. If that makes sense. So like, then so I got a really good bed. So I went down to visit family. I was exhausted and drove back and was exhausted. And then just loads of work and loads of stuff. But yeah, socializing as well. I stepped into the outside world for the first time. Well, last weekend was the first time I saw anybody who doesn't live with me, like for the last 3 months or whatever is of lockdown. Because I've been like proper locked down for everything, and then last weekend 2 weekends ago, so seeing family was like, people again. That's interesting.
You saw me in a car.
I got the car. We had the car, but you know what I mean, like outside like society. So I didn't really know. So you
being in a room with other people.
So you mean like because I've seen all these reports. I want to put it into context of I work from home anyway. I'm literally self-isolating most of the time anyway. So all these reports of like large gatherings of people, I've assumed they were like outliers, just like 6 kids or whatever, just having a picnic, and that everything else is empty. Since I got back, I've actually been to 2 towns or 2 cities. I went to Manchester for a meal, and that was quite in a restaurant, and that was quite weird. It was very socially distant. It worked, but it was very kind of like, there's a few people out. It feels like people are being responsible. And then I went to York yesterday, and you wouldn't be able to tell that it was a lockdown going on. It was so weird. Right. Like the city of York was just rammed with people, like very close together. And it's a weird thing of it's not something I'm concerned about. I don't care like about the coronavirus. You're going to spread it. It's just that whole logic of, if we all agree to do this and it's reasonable, then, seems all right. And I was out, admittedly, I was out on the streets, but it felt like there was way more people than there should be.
But at the same time, it's like, I mean, if someone wants to go out and they're allowed to, they can't really predict how many other people are also going to go out.
Exactly. But I mean, like groups of like 5 people getting together and going out. I think that was the thing that weirded me out. Well, not weirded me out. It was just to notice it. It was like so many people here. But I think it was because Manchester was kind of fine, as in there were people, but it wasn't rammed. But like there was lots of queuing, there's lots of walking around, and again, it's probably fine, open air, and I think the laws have changed recently, so everyone's kind of like a bit more relaxed about it. But it was my feeling was, didn't expect this to happen this quick. I thought it would be like 6 months' time. But if it's all good, it's all good. We'll see. We'll see.
I don't know. I don't really. You just kind of just take it day by day and do whatever the fuck you've got to do. Like I went out with a mate. There was going to be a group of 4 of us, but it just turned out to be the 2 of us. And we had to, like, anywhere we went, we had to book for like a time slot all day, because they have to seat you at a table and then distance you and stuff, even if you just go like going for a drink or something. There's no drop-ins. But it's fucking fine for me. Like, just great. It means I get a seat.
Yeah. I went to one place that wasn't booked. It was just walk up. But then that was a place that doesn't take reservations. So I guess but we sat outside and it was fine. It's good to have food and a sense of normalcy, I think. Yeah. But just it seemed quite surreal to see. I started wearing a mask every now and then, because I think they're bringing it to be mandatory in a week or something, aren't they? Something.
Yeah, well, they've given them to us at work, these like black cotton things. I've only put it on the once. It was, I'm not going to get used to it, but I'll do whatever they tell me to do.
I enjoy it.
But they said like, from the 24th you'll have to wear it in shops,
something like that,
and stores like that. But then not if you go to the pub, because
pull it down.
Obviously, you can't like drink through it and stuff like that. But they said it'll be mandatory to wear it in situations where it's not. It doesn't hinder the activity or whatever.
So you could wear it on a sun, like a sun lounger, like a suntan place. You could wear one in there. Yeah, that makes sense.
But then they're opening up the gyms soon. Do you want to work out in a face mask?
I would. I find the whole thing hilarious.
I
think you die.
I mean,
stops all that air
I wore
getting
it for. I wore it for like for 10 minutes the other day while we were putting delivery away, like running back and forth, throwing things up on shelves and all that stuff. And it's like, I definitely noticed a difference. Like, it definitely took a bit more out of me, and I was starting to overheat like much quicker than I normally would.
Well, I reckon.
Sorry, sweat. I'm a human. Sweat. I started to sweat.
True.
Much.
I'm not one of those. But like, I guess like breathing into it is gonna maintain a little bit of heat that would usually escape. Maybe.
Yeah. And I found it was like, I don't know if it's probably just the fit of the mask or whatever, but the heat, the air was coming out over the top and blowing into my eyes. So it's just like, it just hurt.
I don't know whether it's like, for me, I've struggled to breathe from birth, really. So like maybe maybe there's a difference, but I don't really notice it. But like, I'm just wearing an asthma attack. I don't know. But I quite enjoy it. I find it hilarious, because I'm of the opinion that if I wore a mask in public, it would be greeted with great suspicion, along with like the corpse bag that I was pulling along with me or whatever. And now like the government is saying like, hey, everybody, go wear your serial killer costumes. Like, oh, brilliant.
Yeah, everybody, shield your identity.
Yeah. It's just a feeling of it, of just like, there's a feeling of anonymity, even though I'm pretty obvious who I am, even if I'm wearing a mask. Does he have a beard? Yeah. Is he bald? Yes. Okay, we know who he is. That's who he is.
Yeah.
But so I'm going to start getting used to that, and then see if that makes if that becomes part of day-to-day life. It's just so apocalyptic. I think it's one of those things. It's surreal. It is surreal just to see people. And when I talked about York before, all those people walking around, I think maybe out of 300 people, I maybe saw 5 masks. Which again, it's nothing judgmental. Right. It was just really weird to like, everything's
It'll
okay.
Change. Like, given like once this thing comes out, because people will get to a point where they're like, well, if I've got to take it off every time I go into a place, I might as well just keep it on. Yeah. I
mean,
if I got it,
I think I read today that there's like Oxford have maybe got the University of Oxford or whatever it is have got potential vaccine idea thing that's maybe going on.
Yeah, apparently it's doing quite well, but like all trials and tests and everything so far have been really positive.
But you need time to test.
What they said is it trains the immune system, which sounds like it's a vaccine, but it kind of isn't, because it's like you can still get it. It's just
It's like a PowerPoint at a bank about sexual assault. Like all the information is there. Everyone understood, but it didn't quite stick. We gave you the PowerPoint. Oh God.
Back to sensitivity.
But I did read an article this week that I thought was quite funny because it was a statement from the World Health Organization. The headline is, let me get the coronavirus crisis may get worse and worse and worse, says the World Health Organization. They're optimistic.
Excellent.
You know what I mean? It's going to get worse, and then it's going to get worse, and then it's going to get even more worse.
Yeah.
Strap in. It's going to be interesting. The full quote is, "Let me be blunt. Too many countries are headed in the wrong direction. The virus remains public enemy number one." Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, I think is how it's pronounced. That's what he said. "If basics are not followed, the only way this pandemic is going to go, it's going to go to get worse and worse and worse, but it doesn't have to be this way." And then, he gave statistic of, 12, and this is what makes it feel like a, horror, like a big, what do they call it, disaster movie. Global coronavirus have reached cases have reached 12 million, so 12 million infected and over 500,000 dead. And you go, that's the statistic of a disaster film of how it goes all kind of weird. Just interesting. You've got to simplify the language to try and communicate to everybody, but it just seems weird to say, it's worse and worse and worse. All right, cool. All right. Figure out how that goes.
Yeah. We'll get herd immunity at some point. More people are going to die. More people are going to get it. Like, I think it's kind of an inevitability. They're not going to be able to roll out any kind of vaccine soon enough to stop more people dying. But
priority number one is to protect the people looking into the vaccine, I guess. Because if they they're all gone. Oh well, vitamin C, I guess maybe that'll work. Drink some Kool-Aid. Yeah.
You got to it's the trouble about people. Like, you've got to make sure that once it is over, whenever that is, however long that's going to take, that there's some kind of world for people to come back to. And if you let businesses and jobs and all of that collapse, which they will if they rely on just funding from nowhere, then it's not going to work. You kind of have to start moving people back.
Sure. I guess it's strange as well, because when you think about it, the idea you're presenting is to try and protect all businesses that are kind of, struggling at the moment. And there's definitely an argument for that.
What?
But it's like, you kind of think it's like, what about the gelato waffle houses? Like, we need the world to come back to. Does that world need to have waffles? Some people go, yeah! And you go, maybe. Yeah. But you go, it's interesting how... I think the world's going to change.
I don't think the world needs waffles, but I think the person serving the waffles needs money.
Sure, but then what if he, instead of making waffles, learnt to vaccine? You know what I mean?
What if...
Instead of learn to code.
Instead of going back to his minimum wage job...
Or his business or whatever.
And us trying to keep that business alive somehow... What if, individually, we paid for a £300,000 education for each of these people to learn to be a vaccinator or whatever the fuck?
Well, just like, it's got to be a case of trial and error vaccination, innit? Yeah. So, everyone just tries something.
You work your way up as a vaccinator. You go in as a lab rat. And then
just try different there'll be somebody be like, oh, what if mint? Maybe mint is the cure. So there's one guy eating tons of mint, right? Then you got another guy.
I've got mint on my waffles.
Well, I guess it's interesting because obviously I think the world's gonna change, but there's gonna be the world is going to change in terms of the way certain businesses work. Like, if you can work from home, there's going to be more of that option. People to get more used to it. People who will have overcome issues that were preventing them to work from home. Like, say, national internet. Like, if the government is organizing internet, everyone can work from home over the internet if they want to. Little changes like that. And it'll just be strange if, businesses see what luxury businesses collapse. Like Model Villages, or Model Village probably wasn't that affected. I drove past one, actually, a Jurassic Park Model Village thing, when I was driving around.
What? Just crushed.
No, there was some roundabout near Manchester. It's roundabout motorway near Manchester where you drive over this overpass, and there's like a Jurassic World on the right. Oh. Wonder what's going on in the world. Oh yeah, it's interesting. There's people there.
It's a pandemic and
volcano.
Dinosaurs.
Volcano and dinosaurs, and just people taking pictures. So, yeah.
I'd go see that.
In a pandemic. Yeah, why not? Yeah. I don't know. I guess my reaction is, I think, because I went from 0 to 100, I think, is from going from a completely isolating and reckoning, not seeing it being busy. The busiest I've seen is a little bit of a queue outside a shop. And then, going.
No toe in the water, just straight in.
Jesus Christ!
So cold.
Many. Yeah. But yeah, it was interesting. I think, if the gyms do reopen, I'm definitely going to the gym. I just think, I see of it now as just, this is the human problem, isn't it? You go like, oh, there's been enough time now, and the government is saying it's okay. All right, I'll go out and do this, but it's got there's a rationalization, I think, because the World Health Organization is saying no. So, like, who should we listen to?
It's the problem of all habit, though, particularly one that's quite comfortable. Like it's like if you were a smoker and you don't smoke for ages, and there's no chemical left in you, there's nothing at all. Like, I think it's still common for someone to be like, oh, I'm fine now, and then they have one, and it's just complete landslide, and then by the end of the week they're back to smoking 20 a day.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it's a yearning for kind of just comfort of lifestyle again.
Yeah, like, and just normality. And again, all these services and all these things like going outside.
Because you'll always fall back into whatever's easiest, and it's easiest to...
And healthier as well. Like, in the immediacy, the idea of going outside and socializing is healthy. Like, you go out there and that helps you. So it's not even like they're dipping into a bad habit. It's like, no, they're actually dipping into a good habit when they shouldn't. It's a really weird thing to police. I think it's at a point now where it's like, well, as you suggested, in terms of like it's affecting businesses and everything like that, it's like, well, we tried for a little bit, we'll see if that works out, and if it doesn't, and then see what happens. I
mean, there's already just irreparable damage to so much stuff, houses. Like businesses that are just never going to come back. Well, and like,
yeah, I've heard some businesses in Stoke have closed, and I wasn't particularly aware that some businesses in Stoke were open. If you walk around the city centre of Stoke, there's a lot of derelict buildings. There's a derelict bus station, I swear. When I last went, it's like, buses used to come here, then they gave up.
The buses don't come to the bus station anymore.
They filed for unemployment. The buses have. All right, fair enough.
You know, that I always found this quite funny, and I'm not sure why, because I guess it makes sense to get it while it's cheap. But you know, Stoke just has all of Liverpool's old buses. Yeah.
Just the senior citizen buses of Liverpool. They come here to retire, and it's just like a really bad old folks home where it's like, this isn't what the things people are doing inside me. Oh God,
fucking teenagers throwing up on you.
Yeah. Oh, I had a thing. Yeah. So much. There's so much that I'd like to talk about, but there's a lot of eggshells. Well, not eggshells is the wrong word, but like I'm very open and public about a lot of my life on the podcast, and
you don't know that other people involved are.
No, I know who the other people involved are, but it's the way that I'm very open and honest about my experiences and my life and my thoughts is by maintaining the anonymity of anyone in the story. So take the blood sacrifice Tinder date. Right, yeah. I gotta. It's probably like if she saw that, she might be a bit. I don't know how she'd be. She reacts oddly in different situations, and I don't have any contact with her. And she didn't know I did a podcast or anything. But it's like, by me telling that story, it doesn't affect anybody, and it doesn't. There's nobody listening in, being like, "Oh, is he going to tell that story about me? Oh, is this what's going to happen?" There's loads of interesting, complex stuff. That keeps bouncing around in my head, so I apologise if I say anything out of turn. But I had a bit of an introspective time. I had a lot of thinking about. There's a lot of personality traits I've got that that started to make more sense as I started to think about it a little bit further. I should really write this out in order to figure it out. But basically, one of my core one of my core parts of my personality I've discovered is willingness to stand up for myself and others in a situation present, like happening in front of me. Whereas most people would turn a blind eye, or most people would kind of be like, let's not get involved. They'd be like, no, and it's not courage, it's not balls, it's nothing stupid or egotistical like that. It's just, I feel like that's my purpose. That's why I play loud metal music in my car when I drive, so that people listening, when they walk past, be like, metal music, I'm not alone. You know? Yeah. There's obviously other things with that specifically, because amazing. But there's an aspect of that. It's like, oh, if I'm walking down the road and I hear someone blasting metal, I feel a sense of community, so I'll reciprocate. And yeah, it's a large part of my personality in terms of getting involved of things. Have you ever been in a conflict situation with me? I can't remember. As in, we've been out and something's happened? I can't remember. You recovered from Downs, but that was relatively peaceful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I can't think of one.
Only the once. The burning car Jägermeister situation was not a situation of conflict, but that was something. Yeah. And you dragging that kid out of the cinema. Strangling that kid.
Yeah, I think strangling that kid in the cinema. I think we've said it on the podcast before, but there was these 3 late teenagers or whatever were.
We weren't much older.
Oh no, I was 20. We
were at uni.
But they were in an empty cinema. They sat in front of us. We had to sit there because we had a friend in a wheelchair with us, and they kept on being aggressive and yelling and throwing empty cans of cider around the place, which I didn't care about. But they told my mate to fuck off a few times, and on the second time I intervened. I picked him up by his neck. That's the story that I'm so proud of. Maybe can you remember? I'm so confident this is true. When I picked him up, his mate got up and said, "Whoa, mate, we're not looking for any trouble." And I swear I responded, "Trouble was behind you running out of popcorn." Did that happen? I'm so confident it did.
I don't know.
There's so much of me.
It was a long time ago.
I swear.
To be fair, I think we were out watching an Arnie film or something, so it could have been.
What was it? Wolverine, I think it was. It happened during he punched a helicopter to death, and I didn't even remember that being in the film because I didn't see it because I was strangling that guy. And then a pick put him down, and then he turned around to fight me, and he saw me, and I think he thought I was a smaller person, so he kind of and then they left. And apparently they punched the ticket machine on the way out or something like that.
The ticket machine or something.
Yeah. But the reason that I do that is I think I've through my life, through many different examples, I've seen lots of people being too polite in a situation that requires you not to be. So too many situations of like somebody's this is just an example, but say something like depression, right? A lot of people, if they mention depression, some people will not want to get involved because of many reasons, maybe positive reasons. They don't want to interfere. They don't know how to handle it. Maybe this person wants normalcy, but there's an attribute of human beings where they just don't want to get involved because it's too much effort and they've got their own lives to deal with. It's totally understandable. Yes, if you were doing something busy and it was productive, and then someone was like, "Oh, I'm depressed," you'd be like, "I can't talk right now. I'm doing something, so just I'm doing this." But I've seen that in lots and lots of situations where I know people would have needed someone to stand up for them. So that's a large part of my personality is going out and standing up for people. The same. I'm a knight. No, I'm thinking out loud here and jumping around with things. But it's not for a positive thing. I think it's just there's part of me that sympathizes and wants to help, and I'm large, so I try and help. To the point of like even in my most horrific situation, like all my dating stories where I've always said red flags, you'd be like, this is where you say no and you walk away. I go, what if I can help this person in their axe wielding maniac life? It's like,
not your job.
Most people would leave right now. I'm not going to leave you. Let's see where this goes. Oh my god. And I'd leave amicably and be like, I'm just going to try and make a comedy career out of this, but You do you, and I'm going to walk away. So yeah, a lot of introspection. I didn't realize that was because I think that if you take that and you analyze it, I think that explains a lot of my attitudes towards a lot of things. And the other thing is manipulation. That whole we spoke about before. We've been in bad relationships where people are quite manipulative. I have a real issue with people doing that on a lot of level because of a lot of random different experiences. But I thought about it today. It was like if you think about take a somewhat controversial or PC culture clash topic such as gender identity. Yeah. Discuss the idea of that subconsciously has ideas of manipulation in my mind of I've addressed you as hello, say you gendered somebody and they said, well, actually, I'm another gender. There's a feeling of they're using that as a manipulation tool. Well, they're not, but subconsciously it's like it's keeping things vague and not having anything nailed down, and that's why I think in ones and zeros of yes or no, with any topic, it's like any topic, take it down and give it a simple abstract example, true or false.
Try and find a binary. Yeah.
And then, but I do that in order to try and prevent vagueness because vagueness is used to manipulate.
Well, vagueness is where people make mistakes, and it's. I think people fall on vagueness as an excuse.
Well, people use it they use it to manipulate. They'll be like, I'm not going to tell you my name. Okay, how about we go here? Why did you say we? Whatever it is, but if you simply said for this, and it's a bad example, it's just the first thing that popped in my head, but anybody using anything to try to confuse or try to manipulate, try to make feel bad about anything, you go like, there's not enough time in the world, and just get on. There's better, more productive things. You could be vaccinating with mint, for God's sake. You can instead of doing this. So lots of introspection this week, and then fair bits of entering the outside world. But whirlwind of a crazy of a week, like to the point where I thought we might not actually get recording because just trying to find time. It's like, oh no, I could take a break here and do something. It's just been crazy whirlwind week. So fun times. So elsewhere in the news, Linkin Park have issued a cease and desist against Donald Trump. Stop.
Oh.
I didn't.
Is he playing one of their songs or something?
There was a cover of one of their songs that he used in some way. And I've read that in a social media advert or rally, warm-up music or whatever. I didn't realise that I thought say you went to a gig and they say they have warm-up music just playing. I thought that was just they owned a public license to play that music, like a Spotify business account or something.
Yeah, you normally have a license to play music, not particular songs,
right.
But in a live venue, it's just to play music. But then it becomes more complicated when that music is broadcast. Then that's a different license where you need individual licenses for the songs.
Oh, okay. So if they streamed the event and there was background music going on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's strange. Yeah, so, he was playing a song or whatever reason and Linkin Park stepped in. I'm a fan of Linkin Park. I don't know. Have they released new songs? I don't think they have.
Not since he died.
Not since the after death. So I guess there's nothing wrong with it. It was just I didn't expect to see Linkin Park in the news. And I looked into cease and desist because I was like, it sounds very aggressive. It sounds very serious. But apparently it's just you might as well send
stop it.
Yeah, it's like please stop. Or we might pursue legal action. It's just very formal, but cease and desist. It's just very aggressive.
I know what
wording.
cease is. What's desist?
I don't know.
Recant? I'm sorry.
Desist. Is it the opposite of assist? Stop trying to help us. Maybe. I don't know. But apparently it was a cover of In the End. And it doesn't have any legal bearing or anything like that. A video posted by the US president's social media advisor.
That's a weird song to play on a rally.
In the end, doesn't even matter. Vote for me, but in the end,
I tried so hard. I got so far. In the end, it doesn't matter.
But like, what other songs is it going to be? You know, like Crawling in My Skin. Like, oh, it's weird presidential.
Numb. I've become so numb.
Yes. Cease and desist. Disturbed seems strange. But yeah, I guess... I don't know. There's a weird feeling. Music's always been weird, isn't it, in terms of like whose rights it is? Because you kind of feel like it's kind of public domain because of things like the radio. Like, music's always surrounded us. To think that somebody can be like, no, don't do that. Don't play my song. There's a weird feeling about it, but it's their product at the end of the day, isn't it, I guess? And if they want to politicize it, I guess.
It happens every time, though. Like, there was one last time when he was... before he was elected, where I think it was... who's the boss?
Oh, yeah. The River. I saw him live once. Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, Bruce Springsteen. Yeah, he was playing Born in the USA, and Bruce told him to stop it.
Stop it.
Yeah.
I know Paul McCartney.
It's weird. I still find it weird that people play that song. Like, it's shitting on America.
Oh, is it? Yeah. I haven't really listened to much.
For like... For it's shitting on their part in the Vietnam War of all fucking things.
But it's got Born in the USA. People, yeah.
Yeah. Just listen to that bit. Cut the rest out, but just listen to that bit. No, ignore the bit about the yellow man.
I just like the chorus. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never got into Bruce Springsteen. There's like even...
Nah, it wasn't.
Like, what is it? It's technically rock, but it's I don't know. It's like white rock.
He's a good writer. There is one of his albums that I quite like, and it's not really like Bruce Springsteen. I think he just did a load of country songs.
I'd say,
and it was recorded in his living room, and it was quite good.
It's like rock country, but like country is in like Garth Brooks, where it's like, this isn't really country to me, but it's, I guess my country is more, it leans a little bit more towards folk. There's a bit more my kind of country. Same. Whereas like, Garth Brooks country is like, that's the Bruce Springsteen is Garth Brooks-ish, I guess. And they're both incredibly successful, so people like it. But it's just never, it's always felt quite empty to me. But anyway, Bruce Springsteen. Stop it, Donald Trump. Linkin Park says no.
All right.
In more, maybe I should have put that in this article straight after. But it felt very apocalyptic. The weekend of seeing all these people and the fact that they're struggling to find a vaccine and it's going to get worse and worse and worse. So just in calmer news, they're trying to bring and breed bison in the woods in England now.
Are they really?
Just among everything else.
That's amazing.
And now release the bison. I'll read the full article because it's written as if it's the most normal, healthy, peaceful thing in the world. But
bison are quite aggressive.
Yeah, well, these are European bison, so they're stronger but not as heavy.
So they're
as
quite
American.
Aggressive, right? Still quite aggressive, but they've got a more refined palate.
And that is blood. Apparently, bison used to roam Britain. Anyway, apparently, which I guess you could probably say, thousands of years ago, all animals walked everywhere, I guess. This charity is preparing over the next 18 months to reintroduce bison into the Kent woodland. But they are going to build like a fence around it, like Jurassic Park, I'd imagine.
Right.
And they went great.
Yeah.
The bison will be within a 500 hectare, 1,200 acre area with other animals such as conic ponies. They don't sound healthy, but maybe they are, to create a varied and healthy habitat. And apparently, bison are uniquely equipped to help, maintain a certain habitat for more animals. I think it's because they can smash trees with their face. Something like that. Like, other animals eat the plants. They eat the trees.
Yeah, well, I guess they smash down all the thicket and everything. Yeah. They don't let things get overgrown because they're just massive and they're not bothered about thorns and shit, so they just plow through everything.
So these are some of the facts. The European bison is slightly larger, not a good thing, and longer-legged. They're larger and taller. They've got longer reach. More often than not, they're southpaws, so... But they're less heavy than the American bison. The European bison's
Bigger, taller,
but
lighter.
Yeah. Just they're more of a boxer than they are a wrestler, I guess.
Yeah.
not the best news.
Right.
That means they're more agile, right? They're less heavy. They're less obese. They're more lean and ripped, and trained. Don't put them in the woods. Leave them alone.
Well, I guess
let us recover first.
Would they be in the woods, or is it? I'm just thinking, like, I think of bison, I think of them roaming on the plains. So maybe that's it. Maybe they've got to be more nimble because they're living in the woods, so there's more obstacles and everything like that.
They're more trained. They're more ready for human uprising or whatever it is. It became extinct in the wild after World War One. World War One killed off the European bison in the wild.
I didn't realise it was that recent.
Yeah, apparently there was herds were established from zoo-bred animals in Belarus, Poland, Lithuania, Russia, and the Ukraine. So, like, I don't know whether that means there was just so much shelling going on that some of these herding bison just got hit, or people were killing it for food, or all that kind of stuff. Lots of stuff was going on in Europe during World War One. Just mustard gas doesn't go well with bisons. Fuck it. Paul Whitfield, Director General of Wildwood Trust, added, "This will allow people to experience nature in a way they haven't before. Most people don't experience nature whilst being gored by a bison." Oh, gored implies horns, doesn't it? I think. And I think bison have horns. You could be gored by a bison. Why not? Adult males can weigh up to a ton. Oh, that's not a problem. Right. But bisons are peaceful, according to experts, and no other species could perform the job of engineering the habitat in quite the same way. They fell trees by rubbing up against them. They knock down trees by rubbing up against them. That'll be fine.
I would imagine it's young trees. Like
maybe trees are pretty big.
Like,
so yeah, you'd expect it to be a small.
Like 6, 8, 10 feet tall. Like, they're still pretty malleable if you weigh a ton.
Rub up against it.
Yeah.
What if they rub up against someone in a socially distanced Asda? You think that's going to go well? Don't think so. I think everyone's going to die.
Fucking crashes straight through the suit.
Yeah. The heath fritillary, a rare butterfly. When they rub up against these trees.
Butterfly. Well, we bred.
Yeah, I missed out a little bit. So the good thing,
we got the genetics on this one a bit wrong.
That vaccine went bad. Giant European bison moths.
Yeah, it's taller than the American bison moth and quite a bit heavier. It's lighter because it can fly. Yeah. They fell trees by rubbing up against them, creating areas of space and light inside the wood, which help plants such as cow wheat to grow. So, I'm already alarmed by the idea of just more bison in the wild at this time. I don't know why. There's always a feeling of, I always thought it's safe to walk through the woods. But the fact that it's going to be cow wheat as well. I thought cows were like mammals. I thought, they gave birth or something. But apparently they rise from the ground if you bring in these European bison. They start reanimating from the earth. We've come to take it back. That's why the cow manure is used so much. Because they live inside the earth. Just everything grows.
And so therefore, the heath fritillary, a rare butterfly, requires that plant. So they require to live in the woods with light and cow wheat or something like that.
So they're introducing bison to help the butterflies.
It's a weird rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. Bison beats whatever the fuck is killing the butterflies, I guess. Bison beats trees.
A little bit left. Patches of bare earth created by bison dust bathing. So they bathe in dust. Bisons, fuck off water. I'm bathing in the fragments of life that's just lying around. Are good for encouraging lizards and rare arable weeds. So also lizards.
Lizards.
This is Britain. I don't remember us having fire-breathing dragons and massive butterflies and bison wandering around.
The most dangerous animal we've got is like an adder, and no one's ever seen one.
Not that much, really. But they were probably over here at some point. Why not bring... Everyone loves retro and, what do they call it? Not vintage. What is it where people wear like old... I think it's vintage I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Oh, bison. Retro. Weren't they reintroducing wolves into Scotland?
Yeah.
I read that at some point. They were trying that. I thought that was quite cool. I mean, not if you're hiking.
Yeah, it was just like we got loads of space and they would help with pests or other animals and the people problem, I guess. But there was just like so much open space. There's like, fuck it, release the wolves.
It was to stop the deer going fucking mental.
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense. Like, there used to be wolves there.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I'm against wolves as well. Don't bring wolves into southeast London. It's like, no! But like, it's just a strange thing to see.
If I imagine this, or was this a stand-up bit?
What's that?
The idea of it was to help the polar bears and to eliminate obesity. You take them from the ice caps and just put them into cities.
Sounds like a stand-up bit. It doesn't sound like government mandated. Let's bring the polar bears in.
No. I was trying. I wasn't sure if it was something I'd made up or if it's something that I've heard.
Isn't that I Am Legend?
But
I don't know. Like I Am Legend was more zombies. There was a stand-up bit about you would be in better shape if you had to hunt your own dinner, like going around Safeway with a spear trying to chase a deer. I can't remember who did that bit.
Yeah.
So maybe.
No.
But yeah, it would. The world's going to change after the pandemic. I just didn't think bison and all this kind of stuff is going to happen. Also, stag beetles are going to grow as well as fungi.
Stag beetles. Well, we've been working on this beetle, right? It's part stag. It's heavier than the American beetle.
Such a weird.
It's also heavier than the Volkswagen beetle.
Yeah, it's a weird way of describing it. Like, no, yeah, it is stronger and longer-legged, but it is less heavy than the American bison. Oh, okay. Beautiful. The project...
only a ton.
The project, the Bison in the Woods project, is to be funded by £1.1 million from the Postcode Lottery Dream Fund. Whose dream? My dream. They're playing the postcode lottery because they want to leave, right? They want to win money in their current postcode so they can move away.
Yeah.
My dream is where I currently live. When I'm gone, fill it with bison. Watch out, world. Fucking bison. Have you ever been in a situation where a wild animal that maybe shouldn't be there is there? Like when I lived in America, we got some friends and we went and visited sometime when I was a kid, and like a deer came out of the woods where they lived, that whole American-y thing. So deers came out. But again, like I say, there's not that many animals in the... I've had 2 stray dogs stalk me once.
Not really.
That was about it.
There was... I've been chased by cows, and they're not wild.
Were they heavier than the American cow, or was it...
I don't know. And well, not in not really, but like finding out that parrots were sort of native in Amsterdam was weird.
Right.
Like if you walk around in a park there's thousands of them just sitting in the trees,
staring at you.
That's odd.
Reiterating your thoughts without having you speak them. How does it know what I'm thinking? You're thinking about crepes. How does it know?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you see bison in the woods in Kent, it's because of the postcode lottery. In other somewhat similarly alarming news, Bournemouth Beach has caught fire and is making its way uphill. This is very, very recent news. Like I think within the last 8 hours of us recording, Bournemouth Beach is on fire.
The beach is on fire.
Well,
the beach.
More accurately,
where all the water is.
Yeah, it's almost as if the sea and the fire have worked together, and slowly they're attacking the earth and the sky. 2020. Firefighters are tackling a blaze that has hit 3 beach huts and spread up the hillside. So it's like huts on the beach. But the phrase is Bournemouth Beach Blaze spreads up hillside. Jesus Christ. Significant smoke across the promenade on West Hill Road, Dorset, and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue Service said. People are asked to stay away. Stay away from the fire. It's on fire. Stay away. Keep your doors and windows closed, you numpty. 10 to 4 today, 8 crews were sent to the scene. So the beach is on fire. And lastly from me, Facebook has issued a statement after a North Staffordshire man live-streamed his own death.
Oh.
It's very sad news, but I think it's strange to ask Facebook, what do you think about this? Well, George, write a statement about this guy's live stream suicide. And I think that people are saying that they shouldn't allow live stream suicides, which is obviously everyone agrees with. But go, well, it's live.
Yeah.
Even if there was a delay of like a minute, do you want everybody? They want to employ people to watch everybody's live stream.
Every single thing. Yeah.
No.
You're talking crazy.
Yeah.
It's one of those risks. It's just.
Yeah, it's just a sad reality. I think. We'll go into it a little bit more because it adds a little bit more to that idea.
Like, would you stop people live streaming a bungee jump?
Yeah.
What if they get to the end and cord snaps?
Yeah, or eating shellfish. Maybe they don't know they've got a shellfish allergy. It's like, not much you can do.
Although, what dickhead?
Don't film me eating shellfish, you prick. Jonathan Bailey, who was known as Baz or Bazza, told his Facebook followers that he intended to take his own life on Saturday afternoon, and a live stream was started to be broadcast. It emerged that Facebook provided Baz with support resources following his initial post on Saturday afternoon, and the live stream was later deleted. So I think what they're saying is when he posted that he was, how did they phrase it? That when he...
So they didn't... He didn't post that he was going to kill... He didn't post himself killing himself.
He live streamed himself killing himself. He did do that, right. But before he started the live stream, they say he told his followers on Facebook, so I'm guessing it was a status message or a status update, that he intended to take his own life on Saturday afternoon. And then later on, I don't know whether this post was on a Saturday, but at some point in the future, shortly after, a live stream was then broadcast. And I think they're saying that Facebook detected he said something like, I'm going to take my own life, so they gave him like a pop-up, a notification. Oh, Samaritans or something like that. So they're obviously, I think what they're saying is there's already an algorithm that will detect certain keywords such as Costa Coffee and suicide, and they'll make ads based on that. So he was given like a recommendation to something apparently, and I guess the question after that is, should they also stop potential live streams? No, because maybe they're looking for help. Maybe you could argue that maybe those live streams with those buzzwords should be monitored, but nobody. I don't think anyone's on board with monitoring live streams by an authority or whatever. He was pronounced dead after paramedics were called to report to a medical emergency. So I think people were watching the live stream and called the ambulance to go to him in Newcastle under Lyme. The result of any post-mortem examination has not been disclosed. So no more information, but it's like, just the assumption is he was intending to live stream his own suicide because he said before he wanted to take his own life. So it wasn't like a freak accident.
You know what? Like, considering the amount of users and everything and the amount of suicides, I'm surprised it's like the first time it's happened.
I guess Facebook stories are quite recent, I think, right? Like a year or so.
Yeah.
It takes technology a little while to catch up to the rate of suicide.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's me this week. A few little interesting bits. Just, fucking Bison fucking roaming Canterbury, wherever in Kent they're going to be. Don't worry, we're trying to raise more stag beetles. All right.
I don't mind that. I'd be up for seeing a bison.
Oh, yeah.
Not in my front garden.
They can knock
maybe.
down trees by rubbing up against them, mate. What fence is going to hold them?
Well, yeah. We watched Jurassic Park.
Exactly.
Like,
don't give them a lamb.
Yeah.
Whatever you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Swedish island of Gotland has hired a troop of medieval knights to guard against COVID-19.
They've got PPE. You know. That's what I mean. The world is changing. Knights are back in service. Like maybe we'll lose a Waffle House, but we'll gain more knights.
Yeah. Riding on horseback and armed with lances.
Why are they on horseback? You don't need to be on horseback.
I don't know.
You're not a knight if you haven't got a horse. Jesus, I guess you're right. Maybe I'll be a pikeman. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm bringing my lance.
That's how it is in.
Why?
That's how it is in like Civ. Like the knights ride horses.
It's
don't
true.
They?
I think all knights need a horse. I think that's true. I think that's the definition of a knight is someone who rides on horseback. But still, fair enough.
Armed with lances and riding on horseback, the knights will patrol popular tourist hotspots, spreading the message that we are all in this together, encouraging holidaymakers to take responsibility to ensure they minimise the risk of the virus spreading.
Can we go to the gift shop? Well, the knight's looking at us quite aggressively. I think there's already too many people in the gift shop. You can't get a mug or he'll lance you in the face. But as a side note, horses shit everywhere, right? Is that social distancing responsibility?
Well, it stops you going near them.
It's just a circle of shit around all these tourist attractions. That means they're like... Oh, it's in Sweden, right? So if it was in Manchester, obviously it would be around that Lost World model village. Just people on horseback trying to keep the dinosaurs in line. Send them to Kent. Fucking patrol the bison perimeter. Fucking go for it. Lances. Is that a real lance? It can't be. You can't. It's Sweden. Sweden. They must. They probably got pocket knives. I mean, if you got pocket knives, you might as well have a lance. Seems like a perfectly reasonable thing.
Yeah, plus it's like I imagine a good lance is probably 2 meters long.
Probably,
right?
Yeah. At the very least,
you could enforce social distancing with that.
Yeah, but there's like polite, gentle encouragement of social enforcement, but then there's like this pointed metal thing that can kill people if I'm going too fast. Seems a pretty intense. People were against the water cannon. I'd rather be water cannon than lanced.
Yeah, it's true.
If you're at a riot and a water cannon turns up and sprays water on, even if it's innocent protesters or rioters, you go, I'd rather have that than being accidentally lanced at Waterworld. Yeah, it just it seems wrong. But fair enough.
Medieval riot control. He said bring the mace. I got completely the wrong idea.
What was Sweden's whole thing about Corona? Weren't they... I remember them being singled out early on by the other Scandinavian countries.
Because apparently they did everything right or something. I don't know what they did different, apart from have 10 times fewer people than every other fucking country.
Isn't it like... I think New Zealand is one of the few that... I remember at one point, anyway, they declared that they were free of it all. I don't know if that's still the case.
New Zealand, that very isolated and sparse population. Yeah. Oh, they're doing it right. Politics. Shut up.
Bring in the knights! Well, we've been criticised because all the other Scandinavian countries are telling us we're doing everything right. So I say, wild card. Let's bring out the knights. Confuse them for a bit.
Accuse me of doing everything right.
Fuck you. Where's my lance?
I can be unpredictable.
Yeah. Where's a tower? Let's go rescue some poor woman in a tower.
Build a tower.
Build a tower, put a woman in it, Sweden will invade. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. There's not much to this story. I just found it quite funny looking at the picture of it, which is no help at all to people listening. After a boundary dispute, a man in Maine has sawed his neighbour's garage in half.
That's quite a dispute.
But looking at the picture of it, the garage is sawn perfectly in half, and then the other half is just thrown over the garden.
Oh, that's brilliant. I assumed it was like just a handsaw. You know, he was like sat on the roof just all like for ages, like, please stop. No, we've argued about this forever.
No.
But it sounds like he just got a massive circular saw, turned it on, and just like rolled it up his
across the roof.
Yeah. But it's like it's the height of the garage, so we just kind of rolled it through.
That's what it looks like. It's a perfect cut all the way down. Must have been some
mechanical thing. He's gone out for brunch. Let me get my giant circular saw. Yeah, it makes it's respectable.
Yeah,
I can respect that.
Because apparently the garage was built over half of his garden or something.
Yeah,
but they only found out about it recently, and the guy didn't want to give the land back. He was like, "Well, it's not yours," so he just cut his garage in half.
There's all those weird laws. There's a law that if you build a fence, it becomes your land after 10 years.
After so many, well, it's in America though, so I don't know how it is. I know over here it's like that boundary thing.
I can't. Right, I spoke to somebody with authority. Oh no, it was a mutual friend's girlfriend. I had that conversation with, and she had some kind of legal land thing. I think she confirmed something. So maybe it is part. Maybe it could be part of the UK as well. But there's all those kind of things, isn't it? It's like,
there's also a weird thing over here where it's like if you have land and you don't tend to it for a period of time, it stops being yours. Like if someone else tends to your land.
That's like just to continue the use of allotments, isn't it, I guess? Just someone dies and they don't look after their allotment. They can't just keep it theirs forever.
Well, imagine if someone came around and fed your dog and was like, "Oh, it's mine."
Yeah. Subsection C. I've tended your dog. Your dog is now mine.
Yeah. Iceland.
Oh yeah.
Iceland are offering to people who are frustrated by lockdown to release their screams over loudspeaker into the wild.
We had this is one of our early messages, right? Was it Iceland or Sweden? There was like I think it was Sweden. You sent me a video, one of the first videos you ever sent me, I think, and it was like Sweden sounds like our kind of place, and it was like just a video of a guy in like a uni halls or something. It's like Sweden is a emotional place. He leant out of his window, screamed, and there was like a little break, and then like just other people started screaming. Not like alarm. It was like, no, it's good. It's good to be healthy. Yeah, release the screams all the way. Respect to Iceland.
The new app and website from Tourism Initiative.
Tourism Initiative?
Yeah.
We want to attract more tourists. Start screaming in the street. We can't do knights on horseback with lances. We can't do wild bison. Let's do screams. Tourism.
The app is called Looks Like You Need Iceland.
It's worded so brilliantly. You just look at your app. Oh, I guess so. Fair enough. Open it up. Some Icelandic person screams at you. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It encourages users from around the world to unleash their pandemic frustrations as a scream, with the promise that all screams will be broadcast from speakers into the Icelandic wilderness.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, you could argue that they don't need the permission to do that either, right? They could say that, it's there's somebody who lives in the middle, probably had no idea about it, and then suddenly the wilderness was screaming in chorus from everyone in the world.
Yeah,
that's my dream. That is. That's a champagne moment of like that shouldn't be.
Download the app.
Yeah, that shouldn't exist. If I was drifting off to sleep and I could hear screams coming from the wilderness, I'd be like, "This is amazing." Yeah, this is great. It's like sleeping on a metal festival. Just every now and then you hear. Oh, someone's having a lovely time over there. Looks like you need Iceland. Fair play.
Yeah. An Indonesian airline has stopped flight attendants from wearing face masks after passengers complained about their lack of smiles.
Who complains about a lack of a smile? I don't.
Apparently, there are complaints from passengers that said, "I can't tell if they're frowning or smiling, so I'd like to jeopardise everybody's health."
Yeah. Well, there's like the whole plane thing's a weird one, isn't it? Because it's that whole reused air. So you could argue that
anyway.
You could argue the mask doesn't make much of a difference, but so that's a whole debate you could have. But that would still protect them, right? I guess I don't know. But anyway, yeah, saying it because I'd like to see a smile, please. I'm still weirded out, but that's to be fair, that's one of the things about the masks I enjoyed. I know that I've got some people might reflexively react to me in a negative or a threatened way. I'm not particularly look that way, but I've just noticed it. And wearing the mask, I don't have to try and portray sympathy. I don't have to pretend to have emotions. I don't have to. Yeah. I can just look at them, not react, and walk by, and they can assume I smiled. I don't know. But yeah. It's a weird. I'm always been put on the back foot from overly friendly behaviour. If you went somewhere and they were like talkative cashiers, for example, cashiers or whatever you want to call them, like overly talkative and stuff like that, I'd feel I'm a very talkative person. But there's a feeling that I want to initiate the conversation. It's weird.
Yeah, I get. I know what you mean. I don't mind it if I know them. Like our local shop, we've been here for like 2 years now, so we know a lot of them in there by name. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's fine. Like that's a conversation between people that you know essentially. Yeah. But like not just random people. Particularly if I think from working in shops and stuff, like the skill is to match somebody's mood.
Yeah.
In a sense, like, or not match their mood, because if they're pissed off, you don't want to be pissed off, but like match their energy.
Yeah, I think for me, I just want to, because I find small talk hilarious when escalated, and my initial reaction is to play into it and just make it more crazy. But my polite reaction kicks in, be like, well, they don't expect that or necessarily might not enjoy that, so I'll just play it down. My instinctive reaction is to like go, start talking about some ridiculous thing I've seen and be like, oh, they probably don't want to hear that or escalate to that point. They're just saying it because they feel they have to. But like, oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah. So yeah, if it's initiated to me, I get weirded out. But if I initiate it to them, I think it's perfectly fine. So yeah, it's a weird. What brought this on? There was something about this.
Airlines,
the airline things. Yeah, stop. I'd prefer it. I'd rather see someone in a bad mood than somebody in a great mood in that situation. Yeah. If I'm feeling bad, I want to see somebody else feel bad, because then everybody feels bad. There's a lot of people pretend to be happy. Not that many people pretend to be bad. So, yeah, fuck it. It's more interesting. Yeah. More honest.
Yeah. And finally, Mike Tyson is set to fight a great white shark as part of Shark Week on the Discovery Channel.
In terms of Shark Week trying to help the sharks, don't help them by putting them in a ring with... He's going to kill them. He's returning to fighting, I think.
His
first bout is with a shark.
I've watched, I've seen clips of him training on Instagram. Yeah. Like, for a guy in his 50s, it's fucking nuts. Yeah.
He's still...
it's intense.
Yeah.
Anyway, the 54-year-old will compete against the apex predator for scientific research as part of Tyson versus Jaws, Rumble on the Reef.
They start in the water, at one point just dives in. But to be fair, it's a fair fight, right? I mean, a single man can kill a whale with a spear. Right, they a specially engineered spear, admittedly, but
and knowing where to shove it.
Yeah, there's that whole thing on, is it like Human Planet or something, where whole tribes live the whole year or something off of killing a whale every year, and they all go out on boats, and it's always one specific spear that does it, and he harpoons into it, and they can't dive, and they exhaust themselves from trying to dive.
How the fuck do you get a whale back to land in a rowing boat?
Heave, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Specially trained flying bison, I guess. See how it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
with fame,
he could win, is what I'm saying. He could very easily win. Very easily win.
I'm not sure. In the water against a shark.
Well, don't they say that if you're in the water with a shark, you bop it on the nose and he gets freaked out and leaves? What if you're Mike Tyson?
Yeah, that's a bit more than a bop.
Yeah, it's like he probably kills people if he punches them bare knuckled. It's just like,
oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
With famed ring announcer Michael Buffer calling the shots, these two heavyweights will square off underwater, where Mike Tyson will try to score a TKO on the massive shark.
Oh God, the amount of times like fights have been, or events, sports have been delayed because of whatever reason. Like they put him 2,000 leagues under the sea, and then like there's like all these delays because of reception. It's just an unconscious, drowned Mike Tyson fighting a shark. How underwater are we talking? And is he wearing a suit? I don't know.
Well, the thing, it's Shark Week, isn't it? Like they've done this thing before, where it's like, can Usain Bolt outrun a marlin or something like that? And like, it was Michael Phelps swimming against a shark if he could win in a race, and it's just a simulation.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, okay.
So I think they do use
real data.
They do use the athlete, but they use real data from the athlete to work out if it could be done. Right. If Mike Tyson could take out a shark. Like, to be fair, like, I think what is it that dolphins and shit do to attack sharks? They punt them in the gills. I think if Mike Tyson could get a shot at a shark's gills.
Oh yeah. Even in the face, even if it's on the nose, like it's gonna.
I don't know. There's too much teeth coming out.
At the nose, I don't know. But like, yeah, it's like any connection. I don't think a shark is used to being punched. We'll put it that way. I think
Mike Tyson could take out a shark if it was beached. I'm not sure.
But my opinion is, I'm pretty sure Mike Tyson could take out a boat if he decided to punch it. So by that logic, I reckon you could probably take out a shark. It's a question of agility more than strength, I guess. He's pretty fast.
Yeah.
The shark and Mike Tyson.
I don't know how good he is at swimming, though. Yeah. Is he a good swimmer?
I don't know, but he could bob and move. So it's the same thing, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's me this week.
Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, Bison, lots of people in public.
Bison, Tyson, and I don't know, half a garage.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It's fair enough. So yeah, interesting week. I don't know when we're going to record again because we've kind of gone through all our notes now. But
it might be a bit later. Maybe Saturday this week.
Something out. But yeah, fun times. Always feels weird when you don't podcast for a while. It's a weird ritual, I think.
Trying to warm up.
Yeah. Strange one. But yeah, still good. I still enjoyed it. We're on social media. Oh, I was going to say something at the beginning. I was going to start saying things at the beginning because apparently that's when you meant to do it. And I always felt weird before. Yeah. And then I started
you never did. It took us ages to say it at the end.
This is true. I mean, it just feels like our intro is very different to your usual intro of like some shows. They'll have all their promotional stuff in like segmented things at the beginning. I like the fact that as this kind of fades into us. We never know when we've started. We just find a point. Wow, we've started now. Usually with, so how are you, Steve? That's how that just feels like whenever that's right to say, that's when the podcast starts. But we are on social media. I am at Nick Snip on. Yeah, I'm at Nick Snip. Fucking it up now. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna do this. Don't even try to do it at the beginning until you can do it at the end.
Yeah, I'm at Sing It Steve.
We're at Pulling Teeth Pod on Twitter and Instagram, and we're at Pulling Teeth Podcast on Facebook. Yes.
Yeah. You can find us on YouTube. Subscribe to that, or on, I don't know, wherever else you listen to us, iTunes or Spotify or like all of that if you want to listen. And you can find everything on the website, pullingteethpodcast.com. There is also an Amazon banner.
There is.
So next time you're buying something, If you go to our website first, click on the Amazon banner, and then purchase, doesn't cost you anything else. It's just we get a little kickback from it if you fancy helping us out.
Yep. There's on the website there's contact details, all of our videos, as well as a submission form. If you want to be more direct, we've also got the email address, which is wisdom@pullingteethpodcast.com. They all get through to us, so get in touch if you want to discuss anything. It's always fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, fun times. Fun times.
Yeah.
And it's starting to get warm again. It keeps going up and down.
Yeah.
See whether.
Yeah. I might go and have a shower.
The good old hot shower. Good old Steve logic. Yeah. Fun times.
Works.
Cool.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Movement. See you next week.
Really?